Well, you clicked, and you're here. So clickbait titles do work. Joking apart, the statement does have a base, and we will come back to it. The title in the broader sense is saying, does music affect your gameplay? And with that broad question being asked, there's already two different questions. Number one, does the in-game music help you? And number two, does my claim really have any basis? Both these questions are valid, and I want to focus mainly on the second one because of the title. But that does mean I won't answer the first one, so let's begin. Does in-game music help you? Yes, it does, but it's not the gameplay factor necessarily. You see, the in-game music is added to immerse yourself deeper into the world, and many of you may not care about it, but it's up to you really if you'd rather listen to your own tunes or get fully immersed in the crosswind hold. Then there's also the question of what do you consider music? Is it the background tune, or the symphony of clicks being made by 9 other people in your match? If you think about it, every game you play is a unique piece of music. It doesn't have to make sense or even sound nice, but the fact 9 other people came together with you means it's something entirely different. I mean, I would much rather have Victor's default noise compared to this. Yes, it would be a comedic idea for 1 to 2 hours, maybe even less, but eventually you will get bored of it. I know I will. But in-game music has another purpose, and it's not just to immerse yourself into the world of video games. It's also the subconscious feeling and telling you different aspects of the match, and it makes you act accordingly. Have you ever really thought about why particular types of music or the sound was chosen for this particular thing? For this, we will use a few examples. Let's start with the opening music. It's calm and slowly building up. It sounds grand, and while my musical lingo isn't as high as I'd like it to be, it's essentially hyping up the audience, which is you. So it's treating you like champions as you're being welcomed to the realm. Now we listen to the music in the beginning of the round. It's similar to the music, yet it's different. For starters, it's quieter. Next thing you should also notice is that it's slowly playing faster, and you know it's building up. Then, as we all know, the door opens. Now finally, listen to the tiebreaker music. You know, the one where both teams are locked on 3-3? Consider the moment. It's a game after all, but everything relies on this last point. The winner will be blessed with the victory screen, while the defeat screen will taunt the losing side. This is the equivalent of life and death in the game. One wrong ability used, an early death, or someone not stepping on the point could change the whole fight. While imagining this whole scenario, listen to this music. It feels epic. Like something big is going down, and well, it is. It's fit for the occasion. I mean, really absorb the music and then tell me it doesn't fit the situation. There are probably other musical pieces that fit this better, but I'm not sure I would like them in here. See, it works here, and if it works, don't fix it. But I think I can add one piece of music that fits the situation a lot better. So yes, in-game music helps you with the immersion factor. Being an FPS, you are playing as a champion, and we all know that. But feeling like a champion through sound cues is a different thing, because subconsciously they're made to feel like a champion, while others not so much because they either want to grind out their wins or ranks while listening to their own tunes, or you know, even having it disabled because it affects the concentration. Now, coming back to the second question, and one in the title, why did I claim that being a Gorillaz fan makes you play better? Well, let's begin. As we all know, music is a specific taste. Not everyone will like the same music. As an example, my mother likes classical old songs, and by old I don't mean 2000 era, no. I mean music from the 1900s, Nat King Cole, Etta James, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, etc. Melodious on both the music and lyrics department, they're nice to listen to after a long day of work when you just want to unwind. I, on the other hand, like music she doesn't enjoy, even though I've tried to make her listen to it multiple times. While I don't have a specific genre of music I prefer to listen to, I like everything, to be perfectly honest. But if I have to name a few bands or musicians, it would have to be people like Daft Punk, Biffy Clyro, Poppy, yes, the Poppy, Arabic poetry called Ghazal, and of course Gorillaz. If I had to pick out a favourite from all of them, it would have to be Gorillaz, and there is a reason for that. Funnily enough, they have a pretty wacky backstory, and you know how much I like backstories. However, that's not the main reason I like them. Well, not the main reason. There's also the fact that they're animated, and I kid you not, when I was younger, I actually thought it was cartoon singing. But the thing with Gorillaz is, they're not bound to a single genre. They can't be labelled, as they don't want to be labelled. Each album is associated with a member and a phase. Phase 1 being the oldest with the self-titled album Gorillaz, and Phase 4 being the latest with the new album Humans. Not only does their genre emphasis change from album to album, it can change within songs as well. The co-creator Damon Albarn has said in an interview that Humans was set out to create something not overtly political, but an emotional response to politics. So it's quite modern and upbeat. There's an emphasis on rap in the album, but it's not the dominant factor. On the opposite end of the spectrum, we have the album Demon Days, which is my favourite Gorillaz album by far. Damon describes this album as a depiction of the night, a journey through a night in which each track represents a confrontation with a personal demon. Here, the overall music is a little quieter, melodious, and you'll notice there's an emphasis on orchestral instruments. Now listen to this piece from their album Plastic Beach. You'll notice how the part listening to right now is calm, and it's a tune you can essentially fall asleep to. It's soothing to say the least. Now listen to this. Believe it or not, this is from the same song. You already know if you have listened to the song before. It's much more faster paced, and well, it's a thing you listen to at the gym. It gets you going. The song is called Empire Ants, and it's one of my favourite songs by them. But how does being a fan or even liking Gorillaz make you a better player? You didn't tune in or click on the video to hear me raving on about what makes the Gorillaz. Well then, Jamie Hewlett, the co-creator of Gorillaz, was asked what he thought when people said it's a kids band because of the term virtual band and cartoons. He said he wanted it to be for the kids as they didn't care who was behind the music. It opened them up to other styles they wouldn't have listened to otherwise. And this is important. Just because you like something now doesn't mean you can't like something else that's not the thing you like now. See, that sounds all over the place, but think about it. When I was in secondary school, music was a huge part of everyone's life. Now, there were kids that didn't really listen to music, so they never had any comments. But the ones that did, they had very strong choices. By strong, I would mean if some people enjoyed rock music, rap would be something they didn't listen to at all, because in their minds, it wasn't true music. It was gibberish and degrading to music in general. Whole groups were founded on the base of their musical taste. Naturally, I was asked what I listened to, and back then I would reply, I listen to everything like I do now. And everyone would pressure you into labeling a musical taste, like, no, you can't enjoy rock if you listen to rap, or even, wait, you enjoy pop music? How? That's just terrible, etc, etc. The thing is, humans on a general tend to stick to one thing if they like it, and not try anything else. I'll be the first to admit I did not enjoy black and white movies, or you know, the classics. Why should I care about a movie that's been out for over 40 years? I'd much rather prefer to watch new movies where there's better sound, CGI, and just a better story, or so I thought. But then one day my mother sat me down and made me watch the movie Casablanca, because funnily enough she was going on a trip to Casablanca in a month's time. While it started boring and I wasn't interested at all, things changed quickly. There was a backstory and it definitely affected the protagonist. Was he a bad guy or was he a good guy just misunderstood? By the end of it I was hooked and didn't want to finish it. I had been wrong about movies. Old movies were still good, and if not better. And then of course we started to watch more movies, and more older movies as well. And well, now I'm addicted in a way. Whenever I get the time, I try to search for an older movie on Netflix that I haven't watched before and watch it. It's refreshing. Building upon the fact of not trying something, your playstyle comes into this as well. Whenever you start any new game, you're the most impressionable. You're thrown into the new world and you're presented with a lot of choices. It could be anything really. How do you want a character to look? Which pets do you want as a companion? Which side quests intrigue you the most? And of course, which class/playstyle do you want to try? Sometimes you have a bad experience with one, so you never pick that one again. or sometimes they have a delightful experience with the first pick and never try anything else. You know the phrase, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. While there's nothing wrong with this mentality, it just limits you as a player and even as a person. Why should you settle for just one thing when you can try multiple things? You might not be as good as the other things, but at least it's better to say you can do it as well. Not only does it help you, it also affects the people around you. Let's say you're in a competitive match and you play DPS, like most people do. Now, you could lock in another DPS and continue your tried and tested method, but you could also just pick a support class or even tank, and it will be much beneficial for the whole team. See, you get a change in your playstyle, your team composition is now more balanced, and there's less toxicity. If you would have picked DPS, your team is thankful because you're not the another guy who just locks in selfish choices. Being a Gorillaz fan is not just about enjoying different music. Yes, it's a big part, but more on that, it's about the ideology behind it. It's always important to try new things. You don't know, but maybe you might like the change and wonder what took you so long to make the jump. What's tried and tested will work most of the time, but when is the time to try and test your own thing? I understand people that want to be really great at that one thing. They are masters at what they do. Magicians, locksmiths, theatre actors, and of course players. I respect that completely. If you stick to just one thing and become the very best in it, I wish you all the best. But that's not the life for me. I would rather be a jack of all trades and a master of none. Nowadays, even outside the world of games, I try a lot of things that I've never even considered before. Often they end up being just as bad or even worse than I think. But then there is that one thing that goes amazingly well. And it's that one thing that keeps me going through all these bad experiences. This was a different type of video and the one I've wanted to make for a long time. I realize I may have gone in depth about some topics and skipped over a lot of things. But it happens when you talk about something you like. I could have talked on more and more about both topics, Gorillaz even more, but I didn't want it to drag on. If you want to understand Gorillaz in more depth, I will leave a link to a video essay that explains Gorillaz beautifully. Thank you everyone for watching, tell me what to think of the video in the comments, and be prepared for more videos in the near future with different themes. Till next time, this has been NinjaBoffin.